Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and I'm back to share Trinity Stamp's new release called Greatest Friend on Earth. As with my other release videos, I'll be sharing the product along with a couple card ideas to help you decide if you want it or not. There's a circus theme throughout this release, but there are some items that are not circus themed at all. This is a pretty big release with some awesome stuff, so let's get started. First up are the stamp sets in this new release, and the first one that I will be sharing is this 3x4 stamp set called So Very Loved. It is a large sentiment stamp, and I created a slimline card with some no line coloring, as well as an A2 card with some black outline and coloring. The unique thing about this set is that it actually comes with a coordinating die that cuts out everything, so you can either do some paper piecing or you can use the sentiment alone like I did on this card, pairing it with some other items from the release. Next is a 4x4 stamp set called Papercrafting Magic, which will be a staple if you love making interactive cards. It has the coordinating dies to cut out the arrows and sentiments, but I just used the stamp set for this interactive card. This is the second 3x4 stamp set called Circus Bear. It also has the coordinating dies, and I used almost everything in this stamp set to create this little cute scene card. Greatest Friend on Earth is a 4x4 stamp set with coordinating dies that features a ringmaster and a lion, which I used on a couple of cards. First on this A2 card, and then on a slimline card. And then I used the lion as the centerpiece for this card. Balancing Act is the last 4x4 stamp set, which has coordinating dies as well, and I used almost every single image in this stamp set to create this mini slimline card. The mini slimline card just allows you to use up all the space. Next up are the 4x6 stamp sets. This one is called Friends Are Flowers and has a coordinating die set as well. And it features the ever so popular gnome, and I created this pretty A2 card featuring him. Once Upon a Mime also has coordinating dies for this set, but I actually took all the characters and chose to stamp them and fussy cut them to put them into this fun scene card where they're just hanging out together. Le Cirque is a 4x6 stamp set with coordinating dies, and it features a bunch of different circus animals. You definitely can create a full circus scene card using them, but for my card examples, I used one of the juggling characters, and then I used the girl on the trapeze for a second slimline card. This 4x6 stamp set is called Hometown Parade, which features a bunch of different characters that can be used together to create a parade. It also has the coordinating dice, and I used 3 of the characters on this slimline card. Abracadabra is also a 4x6 stamp set that features a bunch of items for a magic act. It has coordinating dies as well, and I created my first card featuring the magician and his act. And I also used the girl alone as a focal point for this second card. First Bloom is the last 4x6 stamp set, which is a floral set, and it does have the coordinating dies as well. But for my card example, I just stamped out the images to create this Mother's Day card. There's one 4x11 slimline stamp set called Doodle Garden in this release, and I used the stamp 2 ways. First, as a slimline card, I heat embossed it and colored it up using some watercolors that are actually going to be available in the Trinity Stamp store. So I went ahead and stamped that out and colored it up in a loose watercolor style. I also used the stamp set for 2 A2 cards, and I just cut them up and put them on the cards. Next up are the stencils. There are 6 of them in this new release, and the first one is called Superstar, which has 2 layers that create a fun circular pattern. I used it for 2 cards, first with the pattern with a main focal point, and the second on the slimline card with 3 focal points. So you layer them on top of each other to create that pattern. Next is Starstruck, which is another star pattern, and this one is a fun one. I used it to create this rainbow pattern, And then I also changed it up by stenciling it up and then shifting it to create this circular pattern on this second card. Spring Day Scene Builder is a staple for creating a scene card. You can use it to create a tree with branches and leaves like on this card. And then you can also pick from an array of different grass designs. You can also create bushes and shrubs if you wanted to as well. Puffy Cloud Layers is one of those sets that is also a staple, and I used it for a couple of cards in this release. And you can always play with different colored clouds. Curtain Call is a stencil with a few layers to create a curtain as well as texture on the top part of the curtain. So I actually used this Curtain Call layering set for my interactive card where you can pull up the curtain, but you can see all the details and the texture and the dimension that this stencil creates. Good Morning Sunshine is the last stencil from the new release, and it has two different layers, which you can use on an A2 card or a Slimline, and I used it in a few various ways. So first on a Slimline card as intended, and then second as light beams on this particular card. I also used just one layer for a glittery accent to this scene card. So there are just so many ways you could use this. Here are the standalone dies for this release. First up is Rainbow Funshine, which was actually a freebie last Black Friday, but is now available for purchase. I used it in two ways. First, the typical rainbow scene card with sun and clouds, and my second card uses the rainbow as a circular pattern. Build a Big Top is a die set that can create a circus tent, and I actually featured it on a 5x7 card here just so I could take advantage of how large this die set could be. And of course, you can use it on a Slimline card or an A2 card. That's the Ticket is a die set that you can create a Slimline card or a mini Slimline. For my example, I actually used the die to do some stitching to create a backdrop for my card. I have a ton of ideas for this one, but I just ran out of time because you can use it for party invitations and things like that. Slimline Burst Builder is actually intended for a Slimline card, and I originally was going to use it for a Slimline card where you piece everything together tightly, but I decided to use it on an A2 card, and I thought it was really pretty. Center Stage is probably one of my most favorite sets from this release because it is something that you can use to pair with other sets. It creates a stage and audience. You can use it with a bunch of other sets, and it has all these small details for the curtains and then the audience. But you also can use it on Slimline card or an A2 card, and I actually used it for A2 cards just because that's what I really like making, but I plan on using it for Slimline card later on. Then lastly, we have the Slimline Modern Embossed Circle panels and the Mini Modern Embossed Circles panel. I used each of these to create two cards, a Slimline one and a Mini Slimline. And it's just one of those dies that are perfect for putting together easy cards. Those are all the items from this release. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful, and let me know your favorite down below in the description box. I'll have all the links to all the products so you can find them easily on the Trinity Stamp store. Thank you for stopping by today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!